We're really good at f***ing up our bodies, especially because our foods are empty now. Majority of the fruits and vegetables we have are completely empty.
I mean, but let's talk about, hold that for thought. Like, let's talk about why. I'd love to welcome Shahab Elmi to my studio today. You're the co-founder and CEO of Cymbiotika, and it's great to have you here. I think, for people tuning in, do you want to give us a quick background on yourself and why your insights are so valuable? Because I know it is, and I invited you on the show, but I'd love you to tell it in your own words.
Well, there's no perfect formula for any of us.
Absolutely. Everyone's different.
We're perfectly made. Human beings are perfectly made. They're perfectly designed. We wind up fucking up. We're really good at fucking up our bodies. It's like as this aged scotch you gave me earlier is going to do in a little bit. But we can fix all of these things if we know what our body types are and what we respond to. And you hit it perfect. You said the terms research. That's the piece that gets missing. Because our attention spans are like 3 to 5 seconds. We see all these amazing things on Instagram and Facebook, and we jump and buy those things because it was the new glitzy pop product. There's no magic stuff out there.
No.
Like if there's one magic product, everyone would have bought it. Well, I'm healthy. Your concoction of stuff up there, everything you took matters. There's not one piece I would say, why are you taking this thing? It does matter, especially because our foods are empty now.
Absolutely.
Majority of the fruits and vegetables we have are completely empty.
I mean, well, let's talk about, hold that for thought. Like, let's talk about why. I mean, the human population has grown from, 1 billion, less than 100 years ago, to 8 billion today.
Yeah.
So what happens? The same pieces of land, the crops get cycled faster, the soil doesn't get the nutrients back in it. We're over-farming, the oceans, we're over-farming the land. And so we don't get enough nutrition out of the food we're eating.
Bravo.
We have to supplement. There's no other way.
Bravo.
And everyone's different. So with me, for example, I'm dark-skinned, and I live north of the equator, where dark-skinned people typically live. So I'm South Indian by ancestry, and I grew up in South Africa, which was very, very warm and very hot and sunny. And then I moved out to the U.S. and initially I moved to San Francisco, which is Fog City, right? My vitamin D levels collapsed, went down to like 18.
I mean, all of us, right? Even I'm as brown as you can become, and I'm a vitamin D deficient.
So we need vitamin D as a minimum. I take 7,000 IUs a day. My vitamin D levels are 63.
Wow.
And I maintain over 60 permanently the whole year round. And even in summer months I take. And the other thing is with vitamin D is you have to supplement magnesium as well because of it's a hormone, right?
So that's I want to hit on that. And again, Shervin's a better expert for this conversation. But the synergy of the products you take are really important.
Yeah.
Many of them work together in perfect harmony.
Yeah.
Many of them that you have to take are push and pull. So you take one plummets.
Yep.
So just like everyone wants to grab a multivitamin, which is fine.
It's not enough.
It's not going to hurt you, but it's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. So I take vitamin A, D, and K, and it's got K1, 2, and 3 in it. And then I take the magnesium with that because obviously it helps with absorption and usage within the body.
Yeah.
But the point is, I learned that because I found out I had a vitamin D deficiency. Yeah. I studied it up, and now I don't have a deficiency because I supplement correctly. But you can only do that if you do the research for yourself and you understand what your body needs. So that's my needs. I've got friends who they've got ample vitamin D. They're very light-skinned. They go out in the sun all the time. They're surfing, they whatever. They don't need to take a vitamin D supplement of 7,000 IUs a day.
That's the part. The uniqueness of our construct is important. There's our DNA. And some people are, like my family line, we're susceptible to heart disease. Is embedded in my Iranian DNA. Yeah. Doesn't mean that that's my faith, but it's important to know these things. Know your background. Know where you're coming from. What your markers are. I get my blood work done every 3 months. Maybe overkill, but I like to know where I stand. Sure. Because I have 2 little daughters. And for me, like my ability to be around for them, I want to walk them down the aisle. I want to be there for the kids. Like these things matter to me.
Absolutely.
Above and beyond just looking right. I think most of society is more focused on how they look, which is important. Like, everyone looks to go look good in a swimsuit or bikini is fantastic. But it's more important. This health is way more than that, just aesthetics.
Absolutely. So aesthetics hides the underlying health of a person.
Right.
You can look good and be unhealthy.
Yeah.
And people don't. These are mutually exclusive things.
Bravo.
And so let's start off with the journey, right? Yeah. If you're a 20-something-year-old and you're listening to a couple of older guys on a show, we're in our 40s, and and you want to figure out like how do you get to the point where you're in optimal, perfect health, all the way through to 50, 60, 70, and you want to start young.
Yeah.
What do you do?
We don't do this. We don't sell this product, but I encourage everyone to get their blood work done. Mm-hmm. You mentioned all your 200 plus markers.
Yeah.
the more data, like in general in life, we've been successful in business. This is our 5th company, and we've had exit after exit. The success we've had is based around having more data than everyone else. We have the best data. The more data you have, the better decisions you can make. And you make intelligent, wise decisions. And people make decisions about their body without any data whatsoever. The data is in your blood. Go get your blood work done. Most times it's free if you get your doctor to write a prescription. You got to pay out of pocket. It's not that much money. But you have a snapshot in time. Now, that doesn't tell you the whole story because you need these snapshots over a long period of time. But you start building a story of your body. So I do it every 3 months. You do it 3 times a year. That's fine. Twice a year is fine. But build a story over a year, 2, 3 year span to know who you are internally. Then you can start making small pivots and adjustments to address those issues. It's not that complicated. I think people think it's really complex. It's not. Get the right freaking data.
Yeah.
Go see experts to give you advice on how to fix those problems. Move your body. Go work out, and most of these issues will be cured.
Hi, this is Vinny. Thank you for being a viewer or subscriber to my channel. And if you are a viewer and not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. I love producing content for you guys, and I really, really appreciate all the feedback and the comments that you post. I want to hear from you about which guests you want to see on my show, and more importantly, which questions you want to ask them. I'm going to try my best to get them on just for you. Thanks so much, and now back to the show.
So you may have seen a couple of weeks or month ago, they brought out an article and some research on how microplastics and nanoplastics are really seeping into the body.
Everywhere.
Now, I detected this about a decade ago. And so I detected this because my estradiol levels were elevated and we couldn't figure out why. Everything else was fine.
Yeah.
But I was drinking plastic water bottles every single day, like a dozen a day, whatever, lots of plastic water bottles. I switched over to glass or in the house, reverse osmosis filters, etc. And now everything's normalized.
Yeah.
And so now the research comes out years later telling us, oh, it's the nanoplastics. Yeah. And at the time, the research showed that there was a suspicion that plastics were filtering into your bloodstream and raising your estradiol levels, which, this is not one of those hormones you want that out of whack for too long. And so because I was tracking 200 biomarkers, the moment one sort of went out the reference range, I'm able to jump on it and figure it out. And so that's what my advice is to young people is find out what the most important markers are. 'Cause it is expensive doing these tests.
Yeah.
And start off with even just once a year you do it. Test as many things as possible and then go year after year seeing what's moving. Yeah. And if it moves, jump on it and figure out why it's moving.
This is it's a no-brainer, Vinny. Yeah. It's it trips me out. I'm a big car guy. Right?
Yeah.
I love cars. Cars have all these sensors built in.
Yeah.
And one thing's out of whack, splurts up on your dash, and right away go, holy shit, I got to go see someone because my car is out of whack.
Yes.
But no one does that for themselves.
Exactly.
It's such a mind-boggling thing that this thing that's a mechanical device that you bought your car, you will react right away. If a check engine light pops up, a red light pops up, you're driving straight to the dealership and saying, what's going on with my car?
The one exception I will make with that is that we must be very careful of the reference ranges that the medical industry uses.
Yes, bravo.
Because the reference ranges for one person may be different from another,
Yes.
and also what the industry thinks is bad may not be necessarily bad as well. And so we see this across the board.
Yeah.
Where and for those of you listening, or watching, a reference range basically where they'll show, hey, your LDLs are elevated or high or
HDLs
or whatever.
Yeah.
And every country, every person with different genetics is different, so be careful about those. But outside of ones which are more genetically specific, most of the reference ranges are for vitamin D is pretty much standard, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be over 50, at least over 40, but over 50s, 60s, 70s gets a bit high, but that 60, 70 range is a sweet spot, and that's universal. But there are other things which are not universal, so be careful that you don't freak out unnecessarily about certain reference ranges.
Yeah, two points there, perfect point. One is over time, you'll know your reference point.
Yes.
Right? So you'll have a baseline.
Yeah.
So the first 2 or 3 will create your baseline.
Yeah.
For example, my white blood count always runs low. Right? So first time I'm like, holy crap, that must be a problem. Over time, this is 7, 8, 9, 10 years, that's where my white blood count is. That's my reference point. The second thing is, and this one, I don't know if it's going to make your final cut, but I want to say it anyways. It's not a conspiracy theory, guys. There are powers that be that sell tons of products that address these issues.
Yeah.
They have a lot of say over these reference points because if they can spark fear in you that this, you mentioned LDL, HDL is a perfect example, right?
Use a statin.
Yeah, so use a statin. Take XYZ pill, Crestor, and all of a sudden your cholesterol will be fixed. And delete the Crestor part. No offense, Crestor is fantastic. Don't ruin my life. But no, I don't give a shit. But the reality is, you can fit one. Let's say you're out of range.
Yeah.
You are out of range. There's 1,000 other ways to address that issue without taking medication.
Yep.
Most likely you're not out of range, and that's
Yeah.
your baseline. In fact, my wife's uncle is a homeopathic physician in Geneva, Switzerland, and he can't stand these reference points because he believes many of them are just baseline by the pharmaceutical industry, which a lot of them are.
Mm-hmm.
So, to just summarize this, get your blood work done. Reference it over a long period of time, 2 or 3 years. You have a nice baseline of your reference point. Then address these issues homeopathically with dieting, supplementing, working out, etc. Many of these things will resolve themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. While we're on this topic, what do you think are the biggest wellness myths that need to be debunked?
One, that is one diet for all.
Okay.
Like, don't diet. Do not diet. Dieting, the term diet bothers the shit out of me. Because like you and I were talking about the carnivore diet earlier. It's worked great for me.
Yeah.
It's not a diet. It's just a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what lifestyle works for you. The Mediterranean quote unquote diet works great for a lot of people, and so you got to play around with your body. Having these markers will help you, but there's not one solution for all of us. We're all different. Look, you and I body type wise are different. I'm shorter, you're taller. Like we just look different, feel different. Our bodies are different. The second thing is, for a very very long time, certain products were frowned upon, and it was a devil. Like for example, butter. Like butter, organic butter.
Butter's great.
It's the greatest thing in the world for you.
Stearic acid. It's got like
Bravo.
all this healthy stuff in it. It's great.
And then olive oil was the greatest thing in the world. Olive oil is fantastic,
Yeah.
but not when
Don't
you
heat it. It goes rancid.
Man, I'm gonna have to give you a hug later, dude. But it's so deep.
Don't get me started on seed oils.
It's like, dude, seed oils are the craziest thing to me because, I use olive oil just about everything I have, but raw. So I have salad with olive oil, right?
Do you cook with avocado, I guess?
I cook with butter.
Or butter.
Ghee,
Butter's
butter or
fine.
ghee.
Butter,
Butter or
or
ghee.
coconut oil.
Or, yeah, exactly. But one of the myths for a very long time is don't use like canola oil.
Yeah.
Use olive oil. But olive oil past like 95 or 100 or 100
But be careful where you get your olive oil from. Because do you know how they cut the olive oil? I've seen barrels where it says olive oil and then it's like 99% canola oil,
With the
1% olive oil, and they call it olive oil. Olive oil blend.
This is the thing with just organic stuff in general. Be careful of that term organic. Your wife and I, Charlene, were talking about this earlier, brought off camera, is we're kind of going through your kitchen and we're looking at stuff, and the marketing is powerful, man.
Yeah.
And we're looking at one of your proteins in your kitchen was fantastic. It was a good protein, by the way, but it was 100% grass fed, and even grass fed stuff.
Yeah.
They can have grain up until the last 30 days, switch them to grass fed, and then market them as grass fed. So
But that doesn't matter with the protein powder because in the last 30 days is the period before they actually slaughtered.
Yes.
No, because you're not going to get the protein powder at that point.
It's at the very end they get it.
They're about to slaughter, so they're
the
not even
way that you pull that. But my point is, there's marketing terminology around organic, around grass-fed.
Grass-fed, grass-finished is the beef you want to eat.
Correct.
Not grass-fed.
Just got grass-fed.
And they actually did a study about this, and what they showed was that grass-fed, grass-finished beef, in other words, they finish it with grain.
At the very end.
At the very end, the last 30 days is almost... it's almost exactly the same as grain-fed beef its whole life.
It just tastes way better.
The fatty acid profile, it tastes better, but the fatty acid profile is high in omega-6s in both chunks of meat.
Yeah.
They tested this, blind tested, and they were like, okay. So the point is, if you're having grass-fed beef and it's grain-finished, you might as well have grain-fed. It's
as
cheaper.
long as we grass-fed the whole time. And I think it tastes better too, by the way. But the point is, be careful of marketing strategies. The products we make are organic products.
Yes.
We have competitors who make organic products. We've looked at their products. They're not organic. They have enough organic material in them to market them as organic, but they haven't crossed the threshold of being inorganic based on the rules of the organic.
What about fillers in the products?
That you can still be organic and have fillers.
Yeah.
None of ours do, but that's one of the biggest discrepancies between what we do and everyone else does. So these marketing slogans, you got to be really careful. Like one thing I appreciate about what you've done, Charlene too, your wife, was the amount of research you guys do. Like Charlene was showing me all these products in the drawers. She's done like way even beyond you nth level research. What comes in your home, man, we got to protect this home. Like it's very difficult to protect kids at school or out and about their friends. And you don't have to be perfect. Like that's another thing. Perfection is not the barometer for success in being healthy. If you draw a line in the sand that says I'm 100% perfect or I'm not, then you're not. Because especially when you have kids. I had this debate with Shervin, who's I think is on your show, my business partner and one of my dear friends. he lives pretty much a perfect life. He has no kids, not unmarried, etc.
I wouldn't call that a perfect life. But
Well, no, it's perfect as far as health goes. Like
Yeah.
he's supposed to. You're right. Thanks for correcting. He puts 100% perfect healthy life, but that life can't translate. Him and I have debates about this. You can't translate my life. I have a wife and 2 kids, and they do no more kids stuff. They like no more kids crap. So I can't fix them 100%. But if we can address a handful of things, we're far ahead of what we were in the past.
yeah,
Excuse me.
take your time.
Well, that is very good, by the way.
You like it?
You're right. Bravo. Grass-fed. Grain finished.
Grain finished.
Grain finished.
So how do you manage your health and wellness with all the stress of running a business like this?
Yeah, I do a shit job. But, I think that's what we were talking about earlier is you have to be fair to yourself, too. I run a very large company. We're going to...
How many employees do you have?
We have 114 employees now. I think we're going to have a valuation of close to $1 billion next couple of years. We're probably half the way, but we're going to go through an equity round. We're going to end up half of that probably now. So that's not bad. We do.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We did over 100 million top line last year, and we've been profitable every year. So when you're running a company that size,
That's big.
you're not just hanging out. You're working your ass off. There's no easy formula there. I'm very involved in my kids' life. I drop them off in school every day. My wife and I do pick them up every day. I never miss an event. I'm always engaged. My parents live about 45 minutes north. My mother-in-law lives close to us, so we're engaged with all of them all the time.
What time do you wake up?
4:35 every day.
Go straight to the gym?
Straight to the gym, yeah. And so there's no good answer there. And I'm very protective of this answer. I'll tell you why, Vinny. I've heard people give this answer to this exact question, and it sounds preachy. And I don't want to do that because I'm not perfect by any means. My wife isn't perfect. Our life isn't perfect. We're just normal human beings. Everyone's going to find what works for them. I'll tell you what works for me because I'll answer your question. I have to get my workout in early. There's not a morning I wake up. People say I woke up, I pound my chest. Every day is easy. Not for me. Maybe for them. Not for me. I'm exhausted.
What's your morning routine? It's like, what supplements do you take? What do you do?
Yeah, nothing but Cymbiotika. No, that's not true. I take a bunch of other stuff. I won't plug them on this call because our competitors.
Well, just what are they?
So my morning routine, actually, it's called Magic Mind. It's one of our competitors. They make a little shot. It's fantastic. It's a matcha
What's
shot.
in it?
So it's matcha based, but it has a bunch of B12 vitamins and stuff, the B complex vitamins. It works great for me. Gets me nice and focused. And I go on a run, my first thing in the morning. So I'm out the door.
You go fasted?
Yeah, everything I do is fast in the mornings. I only have one meal a day for the most part.
Okay.
If my wife takes me to some events, I'll have a second meal. But most of my days, I have one big meal midday around 2 or 3.
How do you get enough protein in?
I probably don't. It depends on what your calculation is. Like most experts say, to maintain, you need 1 gram per pound of body fat. If you want to add muscle, you need 1.5. I'm not close to that. You just don't have enough time to eat, and so you have to make a decision. Do I want to just put crap in my body or just take something less? So I've taken the latter. It's worked for me. I'm about 195. I'm about 5'8", 195. My body fat's in the low teens. It could be lower, but unfortunately, I like wine and a drink here and there. And I'm Middle Eastern, so we have rice. Like rice is a big portion of our main dishes, and I'm not willing to cancel that out. I love it. So like when my mom or my wife's mom cooks, I wound up indulging in rice. Is there a world where I could be 6 or 7% body fat? For sure. I just prefer to have these other vices that are built in. Overall, though, my markers are great. I just actually had a golf just today. Actually, I called my doctor, going to my last markers. Everything was golden, knock on wood, and I'm really, really healthy.
That's great.
But again, it's about finding what works for you and your lifestyle.
So you say you have a low, like you've managed your stress, or it's not managed?
Oh, my stress is shit. I'm the worst at this. In fact,
what time do you sleep at night then?
My wife and I, after the kids got down to bed, we normally have a glass of wine every night.
Okay.
It's our thing. So we go into our little balcony or backyard area, we'll see the ocean. I showed you our view earlier.
Yeah.
And we sit there, just unwind, de-stress, about 30, 45 minutes, just talk. No business stuff. That's the one rule, no business. Because we work together. My wife is the CEO of our company.
Okay.
She's chief operating. In fact, my wife is the chief operating officer of all my companies. She's the most brilliant person I know and hottest, which just helps 2-in-1 combo. Buy one, get one free. And we have a glass of wine. We unwind. And we're at bed till about like 8:30. We're
8:30.
Yeah, because, sleep, and I'm not a good sleeper. I'm not a great sleeper by any means. You're a big stats guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing. What do you wear? Oura Ring or something?
I use a Whoop.
Yeah, Whoop. That's good too.
Yeah.
Whoop is great. Sleep is the most important.
What's your what do you take at night for sleep before you go to bed? What's your
nothing?
You should take some inositol, glycine. epigenin and magnesium, and you'll sleep.
I
like
take
a baby.
magnesium. I do take magnesium. I take our magnesium. I sleep well, but my thing about sleep is I always fall asleep immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Look, man, we're going through some very unique times with my company. We're going through our first equity round. We're in a minute now, actually. So the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to close. And this valuation period is very important because it seeds into our next valuation period. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I fall asleep in like 7 seconds. If I wake up one time, at 3 in the morning, my brain turns on, and as soon as it turns on,
done.
it's on.
I'm with you.
So I think most entrepreneurs, business people in that space,
When I wake up, I'm up.
it's
That's
it's over.
Yeah.
And so I'm wrapping my arms around that. I think supplementation is an important part of it. Don't take melatonin no matter what you take, guys. Do stay away from melatonin. The studies are pretty freaking clear now. I think people have seen how dangerous it could be for you and detrimental.
Actually, I've looked at it and I've tried it, and I think it's personally melatonin. I think it works when you have jet lag and you're traveling.
Yeah.
And when you try to realign.
As a one-off.
As the one.
Yeah.
But I also think that low dosage melatonin seems to be pretty okay.
How's it work for you?
Yeah.
So I'll send you some stuff to read. Like the melatonin stuff is interesting because of the synthetic nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had turkey, you'd be fine.
Yeah,
but you don't have
tryptophan. Yeah, but you could also take tryptophan as well.
Yeah, but the
precursor
melatonin,
to melatonin.
It is. That's exactly. It's the same thing, right?
I get it.
It's like NAD and MN, similar concept.
Yeah, I take NAD plus as well.
Right.
Nice.
Tough. You're not taking ours though, are you?
I'm taking True Niagen.
I'm gonna say yours. Well,
Okay.
Charlene's getting it. I told you, I'm saying everything, Charlene.
Okay,
I want you to take no credit
pick
for
apart.
it. You have to steal
The
Charlene's
problem,
special.
the problem really is it's very difficult as a consumer to figure out what, like, if I take yours for a month and NAD takes so long to work, it doesn't.
That's not the
It's very hard to determine which one's good or not.
I
I take
agree
True
with
Niagen, but yeah.
I think everyone should, no matter what. It was other brand otherwise. But my point is, like, it's a complex solution. Melatonin, though, specifically, there's a lot of data about you should stay away from it because of synthetic nature. I'm very passionate about anti-synthetic. Anything you take.
I'm with you. I do agree with that.
And look,
but I struggle to stay down the whole night if I don't take it.
Yeah.
But I've switched to low dosage one with black tar cherry as well.
Like black tar is a good one though. Like that, I'm a big
So I
fan.
think the formulation with it.
I'm a big fan.
The problem is that a lot of these guys that sell these formulations, they put the melatonin in because it does help. But then now you have to take a. You can get it separately as well, I guess.
The melatonin piece. I'll say this stuff after this call. I'll send some stuff.
We could geek out all day on this stuff,
Man, it's just synthetic guys. Like if there's one takeaway from this thing, besides the fact that Vinny knows what the hell he's talking about, which I'm really impressed, is stay away from anything synthetic.
Yeah.
And just trust your instincts, man. If you go on Amazon, no offense, Jeff Bezos.
I actually don't buy supplements on Amazon anymore.
Yeah.
I steer away from it because there's so many fake supplements on Amazon.
But I'm using an example. But many places that are mass-produced stuff, you find anything for $10 or $15.
Yeah.
You should think your instincts are kicking in and say why.
Yeah.
We build this stuff for a living. I can get a vitamin C, for example, a 30-day supply, packaged, signed, sealed, deliver. 30-day capsule supply for under $1, 70, 80 cents. But that stuff, the synthetic crap.
I have a question for you. A burning question. I don't mean to insult anyone who lives in Florida, but why are all these supplement companies in Florida so shitty?
So it's interesting to say that a lot of the manufacturers are out there.
The manufacturers, yeah.
And the manufacturers, because there's no state tax, income tax, property is relatively inexpensive. Manufacturing, minimum wage is relatively low. It's a perfect spot to set up and build crappy products. I mean, they're everywhere, but Florida has a.
But whenever I'm doing my research on products, I literally, if I see it's manufactured in Florida, I don't take it.
I mean, I love Florida for many other reasons, so I don't want to bash them, but I think you should just research anything you freaking take.
Sure.
I'm shocked, man. Like people.
But they sell this stuff on Amazon.
Yeah.
You go if you look into where always the cheapest stuff comes out of Florida, and I'm like, I just don't trust the good manufacturing processes in Florida. I just don't trust it.
Ours don't get made in Florida.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you take 5 minutes researching ingredients, first of all, proprietary blend. If you see that, take a step back.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be in the health space, especially in supplements.
Well, I slightly disagree there. Well, so sometimes these blends have things like magtine, for example.
Yeah.
Magnesium.
We use it.
You use it, exactly. So that's proprietary, but it's
Magtine is a proprietary ingredient of magnesium.
Oh, you mean a proprietary blend? Yeah. So proprietary ingredient is Thiamex, for example, for
proprietary ingredient is totally fine.
Okay, fine.
Especially if you're researching. Like Magtine is one of the greatest on the planet. We deal with them directly.
And Thiamex as well.
Thiamex is great too.
Yeah.
Proprietary blend should be an automatic red flag, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know what proprietary blend is?
Yeah, little bits of everything in, and none of it does anything really well.
Even beyond that, it's worse than that.
Okay.
Proprietary blend legally, there's a legal component to this. I don't have to show you what's in my product. That's what proprietary blend means. I could have piss in there. I don't have to show you what's in there. And for me, one of the things that our company represents is transparency. So if you go to our site, we do some crazy stuff. And we're going through an investor meetings now. And I won't mention the names, the biggest banks on the planet. They scratched their head. You guys, on our website, we show exactly where we source our ingredients. We show what's in our products, where you can get them from.
And so the guys are like, the question asked is like, why can't someone just copy this?
Out of your mind.
Yeah.
And we go, God bless them, let them do it.
Yeah.
Because if the worst thing that happens is the industry levels are risen because of what we're doing, I'm okay with it. I can sleep at night.
That's great.
But proprietary blend just means we're not going to tell you what's in it. Good luck figuring out what it is. Like, how are you going to masquerade as a health company and still make products for you and your wife and your kids?
It's so easy just to take the actual blend, break it down, do an analysis on it.
You sent to a lab for $1,500 to give you. But from a marketing perspective, like the fact that they're taking this position that we're not going to tell you what we're going to put in your body or your wife's body, your kid's body, that should piss you off and say, why? What are you hiding? Because it's not a national security level issue that no one can replicate it. That means you're hiding it because you know it's crap.
Yeah.
That should be your first sign.
What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs in the health and wellness industry that want to get involved? And because I want to see more people build companies like yours focusing on these sorts of products and the next generation, not the crappy synthetic crap we've been taking for years, like Centrum and all that other crap.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm
not going to I don't give a shit. Centrum and whatever, all the other stuff. I literally get, like when I go into CVS or Walgreens or whatever, and I see the product on the shelf, I will not buy that product offline, even though I'm doing research, because if they're stocking it, it's probably shit.
It's probably shit. Yeah. So I'll break it down 2 ways. Entrepreneurs first. Okay. I think anyone who has the courage to be an entrepreneur should be.
Yeah.
Because one, you start dominating one of the most important thing after your health is your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're an entrepreneur.
Yep.
You control your time. If you can win back or buy back your time, man, you have no idea the level of freedom of viewers out there. There's not a bigger, better advice I can give you is than try to win back your time. In the health space, in specifically, be bold and be brave. Don't be scared of the precursors to this world. In the old space, powders and capsules dominated because they're the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
Inexpensive synthetic products from China specifically have been the mainstream of this world for very many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
What we did was opposite. We built liposomes, which are very complex, very expensive to make. We put raws in there that were completely organic, and we told you guys where we got them from. So go against the current. Be contrarian in that space. Don't be scared to fail. And if you fail, so be it. Fail and dust yourself up and do it again. But in order to be an entrepreneur in this space and make an impact, you can't follow the people before you because they did a really shitty job. Mm. And so replicating crappy, shitty products and services is not a way to be successful. Disrupting that industry is what you do. Like Elon Musk did that great. I saw a couple of Teslas outside. He's the perfect example. Like, he took an industry, the automobile industry is 100 years old. And he looked at it and said, well, I'm going to do everything the opposite of what they've done. Like, who owns a Tesla here? You own one?
Yeah.
Just the purchasing process of Tesla is different. You go on your app, you put the car together, you hit a bang, bang. A month later, your car delivered in front of your house.
No stupid dealership you have to go in.
Nothing. Even the purchasing process.
It's
contrary.
all in your app, electronic.
Right.
Yeah.
He looked at every aspect of this process and said, how can I do things exactly opposite of the current? Not can I replicate the crappy product that's $10 and make it for $9.75. That's not a key to success. That's a pansy, wussy, terrible way to be an entrepreneur.
So this is really great advice, by the way. This is like, how do you reinvent the industry? That's the way to attack it.
Yeah.
You go in, you look at the wellness industry, you look at the crappy supplements on the shelf, you look at the stuff with fillers. There are so many products out there right now where I just look at the ingredients online. I'm like, I'm not putting this crap in.
And you know right away. I mean, you're knowledgeable, so you know right away. But if 100 companies are doing it one way, that's a pretty good indication it's the other way.
Yeah, I agree.
And don't be afraid. Like, people are so scared of failing. I don't know, especially in our world, the brown world. Culturally, failure is such a frowned upon thing. We don't do that at Cymbiotika. The only rule I have with my folks is I don't have many rules in the office. There's no time cards. We don't have a write-up policy. We don't have any of that shit. We hire diverse people that have different backgrounds, different methodologies, mindsets, and say, your only job here is to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Think about solutions that have never been done before. If it doesn't work, so be it. I'll never get mad. I'll never get upset. What I will get upset at is if we do the same nonsense that's been happening for years and years and years. We don't want that.
So on this topic, what are the top ingredients in foods and supplements that you just give me top 2 or 3 that you would advise everyone to avoid at all costs?
Avoid.
Yeah.
Processed sugar, number 1.
Okay.
Sugars are, it's incredible how fats have been villainized as the worst thing in the world, where the real enemy is sugar. Mm-hmm. If you take like 30 minutes and research.
And you said processed sugars. So in other words, a banana's fine. Some raspberries are fine. Some blueberries, fruits.
If you believe in God, if God made it, it's fine.
Yeah.
If it came from the ground, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
But if it was made in the lab, and we've lived on this for years, fats were vilified as the enemy, butter, like avocado. But these things are great. Your body needs them. Yeah. It's a fantastic thing. Sugar is the number 1 enemy of all of us.
Okay, so take out the macronutrients.
Yeah.
And I actually want to dig into the additives.
Yeah.
What are the top 2 or 3 worst additives for you?
Sunflower oil.
Okay.
So we've actually, to be fairly transparent, one of our first product lines, the preservative that was used was sunflower oil, sunflower seed, sunflower oil. And we went away from this manufacturer years ago, and we went to a new manufacturer, and we paid, it was just cost, right? It was like 60% more to get this product preserved. Normally it's in the preservatives, by the way. If you want to find where the stuff is at, the good stuff or the bad stuff, is the way the products are preserved. Most people have the high-end products, high-end ingredients are all the same. The magic is in the preservatives. How are they making this product last?
So safflower or sunflower, are they, like both?
Both.
Okay.
If you see that word on there, you want to stay away from it as a preservative.
Yes. And so it's in a lot of products.
It's a lot of products.
And let's talk about the impacts of that product on your body.
The inflammatory. It's an
omega-6
impacts. So inflammatory impact on your body is so significant. And if you listen to my partner Shervin talk about inflammation in general, most of the conditions and diseases that we have are laced back. It's all inflammation. Inflammation and acidosis, like these 2 things are just prevalent all the time with diseases and conditions. We can stay away from these, especially inflammation. You're going to be in good shape. My mother-in-law suffers from rheumatoid arthritis, and the inflammation affects her whole body.
So to deal with inflammation, and it's helped a lot, is actually I've started drinking hydrogen water.
Water, yeah.
And I actually used your pills when I went to South Africa. I bought a couple of packs of them, and I just popped into my water, and I got the hydrogen water, which is really helpful against inflammation.
Gary Brecka. Do you know who Gary Brecka is?
Yeah.
So he's a dear friend.
Please tell him to accelerate my my test that I did with him in January.
I'll call him.
It's like 2 months plus now, and they still haven't given my results.
Don't bash him. I'm sorry to call him for a favor, man.
I love him. He's great.
We'll call him after this, okay?
Yeah.
We'll call him together. We'll FaceTime him after this.
It's been forever.
Gary is one of the smartest guys I've known in this world.
He's great.
And he's hitting in the right places.
Yeah.
He's got a hydration device that everyone should get because it works great. I have one in my house. I have one in the office. So if you don't have our tablets and you need access to water, you got one. Like, those are the hacks that fix a lot of these problems. Okay. And there's hacks out there like that.
So people just need to be aware of this. And the information issue is...
And hydration. Hydration in general. If you think about most of these conditions, the inflammatory conditions are driven by massive dehydration. And we all suffer, like, we drink too much, we eat crappy foods with too much salt. We wind up being dehydrated.
What do you think is going to be the next big healthcare call it revolution over the next 5 or 10 years? What's going to change everything?
Yeah, we're in it now. The preventative piece, I'll give you 2 answers, okay? Preventative, where Western medicine for a very long time has been, you get sick, something happens, you go to the doctor, he goes, Vinny, your cholesterol's high, here's a pill. Mm-hmm. You take that, your cholesterol gets normalized, causes something else, you go back. And there's
another pill.
Here's another pill.
My dad's like 73 and he's on like 15 pills.
Every dad.
And he can't get off any of them.
Every dad who's 70-something years old, my dad included. Yeah. If you go look at their, like, how you got those supplements?
Yeah.
That same level of stuff.
I'm on 0 prescription medication.
Because you're
nothing.
Because you're preventative. Yeah. Like, your bed, I wish you would post, you should post your bedroom.
I'll post a picture on the show.
I challenge you to do this because it'll help a lot of people.
In fact, I'll put the picture right here.
Yes. No, you should do that. No, I'm serious. I think if people saw your approach is the right approach, is don't wait to get really, really ill to
Yeah.
take half these pill after pill
Yeah.
after pill. There's a way to prevent it. That's number one. Number two is I'm a big believer in stem cell technology.
Okay.
And if you look at Kobe, he had 2 serious injuries, Achilles rupture and knee injury. He went and got stem cells in Germany, came back in an MVP season. Stem cells, ask yourself, why is most of the world, developed world, stem cells become the norm? Like Germany, for
Well,
example.
where do you get the stem cells from? Is it your own blood or?
Well, you can do them 2 ways. They can clone them, which is the controversial period. You can harvest them from your own blood or someone else's blood, or you can have them synthetically made. But the rest of the world has either pre-made stem cells or stem cells from your own body, so your own supply. And you have to ask yourself, why are stem cells so frowned upon in the United States? Why are they banned here for the most part? You can get PRP, you can get other.
Well, because it probably heals you, and the drug companies don't make money.
I'm not trying to get your podcast shut down, but it's very strange that you can go to Germany and get the best stem cells in the world. And I have a friend of mine who's actually going through it now. He's a very famous guy. I won't mention his name on this podcast. Famous athlete. He had a serious cancer. He was stage 3 prostate cancer. And he was so sick that after radiation and chemotherapy that he dropped, his white blood count fell below 1. So they immediately stopped having any treatment done. They couldn't do it. He went to Germany for 3 weeks, stem cell therapy.
Yeah.
Came back, something like 70-some% spike in white cell count, and was able to continue with his therapy, and now he's doing much, much better. But why did he have to go to Germany to get that therapy done?
It's illegal, yeah. Okay, so what's your top book recommendation for people to read?
Oof. Okay. It's called Obstacles Welcome
Okay.
by a gentleman named Ralph de la Vega.
Okay.
And he's one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met in my life. So Ralph was one of my bosses in my prior life before I became an entrepreneur at AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
He was CEO and vice chairman. And he's on the board of American Express with a bunch of other large companies. He's the man. He's Cuban, and he came to this country at a young age, I think 5 or 6 years old, with nothing. And he ascended from frontline employee at AT&T to the CEO of the company many, many years later. The theme of the book is, basically, I want to paraphrase this in a way that he's much more articulate than I am. Sorry, Ralph. But shit happens. And our lives are tough. The world is tough. We're really obsessed with equality these days, which I believe we should strive for equality.
Mm-hmm.
We will never reach a moment of equality. Never. I don't care, we live 1 billion more years on this planet. I grew up with amazing parents. I have the best parents in the world. Many people don't. Conversely, my parents didn't have a lot of money, so we had to fight for everything we had. Some people grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. The theme of the book is, no matter what your setup is, when you have obstacles and challenges, you got to embrace them. Should we strive for better? Yes. Should we strive for a better system which benefits all? Absolutely. We should never stop doing that. But to stop and mourn your position will never help you, man. Mm. This book is called Obstacles Welcome. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere you can buy it. In fact, what I do in our office, I have about 50 of them. I'll send you one.
Mm-hmm.
Every single new team member we get, I give them a copy.
We'll include it in the notes below in the comment.
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
I love when you do that. Right here. Obstacles Welcome, Ralph de la Vega.
You got it. Thank you. Yeah. You should do the show.
I learned from you already.
What's your number one piece of actionable advice that you'd give for people after listening to this episode? What should they go out and do?
So I think we covered all the health stuff, just in life in general.
Life general.
I'm not an expert in life, man. I will tell you, I married my best friend, the most beautiful person in the world, my wife, for 25 years now. And our relationship has been amazing. It's not perfect, but it's been amazing. We've been fortunate to run 5 companies now. We're going to have our first, I think, unicorn $1 billion exit soon. And we're blessed in all those places. But the key is, find something in your life that you're passionate about. Be prepared to struggle through it. It's not going to be linear, man. Like, life and business and relationships is not a linear experience. It's not. It's just fucking not, man. I hate when I hear panels and these guys have these incredible stories and tales of like perfection.
Absolutist advice.
Everything was like so brilliant, and everything it hit was so phenomenal. That is not life. That's not business. That's not relationships. Yeah. There's trials and tribulations. If you walk into these moments, though, expecting these trials and these downfalls, these pits and valleys, and saying, if they come, bring it. I'm here for it. If it happens, I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to strive and get better from it. You're going to have a beautiful life. If you expect perfection, if you expect these quick turnarounds, you're never going to be depressed and unhappy. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all the ups and downs. And then when they come, it happens. I dust myself off. I hug my beautiful wife. I give her a kiss and we move on. But be prepared to have these ups and downs. Embrace them. Like Ralph said, obstacles welcome and you'll be fine.
Okay, last question. If you could go back in time and meet one person in history, who would it be?
Oh, Tesla.
Nicholas Tesla.
Yeah. I'm becoming obsessed with him. The profound impact he's on this planet it's unbelievable, man. I'm not smart enough to even try to think about how his brain worked, but many of the things you have in this room here are only here because of this man. Most of your driveway, I saw 3 Teslas out there pulling up. Everything we experience now, many of these things are because of this man. Think about the genius, man. Just to pick his brain. Not that I would understand what the hell he's saying, but to be around that aura of greatness would be unbelievable.
Yeah. Well,
surreal.
That's he's one name that has not come up now, and it really should have. So you're the first to mention him, but you're 100% right. He was great. I think a lot of his ideas haven't even come to fruition yet. I mean, he's spoken about a lot of things.
So you read about that stuff, right?
Yeah. It's still on its way. We haven't even gotten to.
That's how ahead of time his tummies was, man.
He's really he's thought about stuff that's going to come in the 22nd century probably for us, and that's pretty powerful.
Vinny, there are mutants amongst us, like absolute mutants. Like you watch X-Men.
Yeah.
There are mutants here amongst us, and we just don't embrace them enough, man. Yeah. We have terminologies like Asperger's or autism or whatever.
You think Elon's a mutant?
Say again?
Is Elon a mutant?
He's a mutant. He's an absolute mutant.
Yeah.
No, he's a mutant. Look at the way he processes and speaks. You see his eyes transitioning like a processor. Have you seen those videos where his eyes are going back and forth as he's talking like a processor? There are absolute mutants. There's superheroes amongst us, man. They're out there and they do amazing, brilliant things. We just don't embrace them like we should. Most of them are socially awkward in our context of social behavior. So we think they're weird, but they're just brilliant, man. And we should embrace them. We should celebrate them because the human race is just crazy, man. Yeah. We are such an incredible species. We like to destroy things and fuck things up. We're really good at that too. But amongst that disaster and chaos, there's some genius, man. And I'm just blown away by it. We've done a lot of things in business that we get praised for, but I think we're, myself, I was speaking on my behalf, minuscule compared to these amazing, brilliant people out there. And because of the realm we're in, I'm around some of these folks, and I walk away sometimes telling my wife, God damn, these guys are effing superheroes. They really are. We just don't appreciate them enough. We will. Later on, history, the shitty thing about human species, we're really good about looking back and saying, these guys were amazing 300 years ago. But we don't do that in real time.
Yep.
The kids talk about panning out roses. That's what they mean, is acknowledging amazing greatness today and not waiting for centuries to pass before our ancestors do it.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an amazing, genius conversation by yourself, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, man.
That's great.
My guys, Kev, Christian, thank you. The guys that make it happen back there, my guys, thank you.